Dear students, in last video we have discussed about the importance of when, where and how to study history. And today we are going to discuss about the given topic, the periodization of history. Let's see what does the word periodization means. History can be written for thousands and thousands of years. As we know, from the origin of the earth, which may be millions of years old, to the current times. It is therefore advisable to divide the huge length of the historic period into segments so that it is easy to understand and record facts. This is like having chapters in a book or acts in a play. Different countries have chosen their own time lines to divide the various era into periods. For example, in Europe, the beginning of the modern period starts in the 15th century. But in India, it is said to have started in the 18th century with the decline of the Mughals and the arrival of the European powers. So, I have a question. Here we have read that in India it is said to have started in the 18th century, but with the decline of the Mughals and the arrival of the European powers. So, who was the first European who reached India? Who was the first European who reached India? So the answer is Vasco da Gama. Vasco da Gama was the first European who reached India. Traditionally, historians have divided the period into three stages, like ancient, medieval, and modern. These periods do not start or end with cut-off dates, but have a gradual fading and evolving pattern from one to the other. It is so because social systems and others' growths cannot be instantaneous but are slow and gradual. Yet each period has its distinct characteristics of technological growth, culture, religion, society, politics, etc. There are some historians who have even subdivided these periods and given them different terms or titles. For example, the period of early modern history of India has been termed as the colonial period. This is based on their logic that India has subjugated by foreign powers, and this had a major impact on the social, cultural, economic and political life in India. In this book we shall concentrate on modern history of India. Now, sources of studying modern history. Large amount of source material for constructing the modern history of India is available. There is plenty of information available on the political, socio-economic and cultural developments in the country. Now we will discuss about the sources of studying modern history. So there are literary sources, official records, and indigenous literary sources. So we will start with the literary sources. Sources of literary nature provide the most valuable information on how things happened in the past. The accounts given in the form of official records, travelers' notes or travelogues, manuscripts, handwritten notes, newspaper clippings provide plenty of insight to this period of our history. However, there is a possibility of bias and difference of perspective which could have led the person to have recorded or narrated an incident or an episode in a lopsided manner. More so in a country like ours, where we have a colonial past, such difference in perception which led this bias to come about in documents and records is not so rare. Keeping the above in mind, some historians have chosen to further classify the literary sources as official in nature or indigenous in origin. So, what does the word indigenous means? Indigenous means a thing or anything which is made or written in its own country. It is known as indigenous. Let's start with the official records. Now we will discuss about the official records. Top priority among literary sources is given to official records, which are the papers of government agencies at different levels. The British felt that all the important documents and letters needed to be carefully preserved. Therefore, they set up record rooms with all administrative institutions, starting from the Tehsildar office up to the provincial secretariats. Specialized institutions like archives and museums were established to preserve important records. The records made by the East India Company give an elaborate account of trading and economic conditions during this period. The official records cover all levels of administration from the district to the supreme government. The British had carried out large number of surveys during their control and administration of Indian territories. They carried out surveys on topography, flora and fauna, local histories, forests, archaeology, etc. They even conducted census operations. Census means the record of the population in a country to understand the demographic patterns. They studied the geographical state, and this helped them bring in railways as well as explore and exploit the mineral wealth of India. We have come across some words like chronology. What does the word means? Chronology means events or dates arranged in the order of the occurrence. Archive means a collection of old public documents and records is known as archives. Demography means the study of population and statistics of the particular area. Now, the records of the Portuguese, Dutch, and French companies, who also had small colonies in different parts of India, are also useful for constructing the history of the 17th and 18th centuries. By reading this material, one can trace every important development stage by stage. Dear students, now in the next video we will learn and discuss about the sources of studying modern history, but we will discuss about the other sources or the indigenous literary sources to understand the modern history. Thank you.